Hello YouTube, this is Shirley426, and today we have the review of the Premium Bandai exclusive, or P-Bandai exclusive, Master Gundam Astray Red Frame Flight Unit Pack Set. Now, I'd like to mention that this is my actual first Master Grade Astray kit to ever build and review, so I will be going over the basics of the articulation on the Astray itself, but I am also going to go through the articulation or other details on the backpack as well. It's because I believe like the Astray is one of those overhyped mobile suit slash kits, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys, about 90% of the community, should at least have, or that's what I've been observing. So yeah. One thing I would like to mention, while this is the Premium Bandai set I got was the one that include the Astray and the flight pack as well. They also announced at the same day, and they announced also a Premium Bandai flight pack just for the Astray. So if you already have an Astray lying around in the area, you can always get the flight pack on its own. Of course, there is one merit by getting this set, is that it also comes with the customized Baku head. Because I believe if you buy only the flight pack, this is not included. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Alright, so as usual, let's go over our components. So before we go for the actual stuff, let's make some space by going over the leftover pieces. Alright, so here are some parts that I cut off. So here are the parts that I cut off. So number one, we have this small black piece, with one end tip being a peg and then the other tip being a ball joint. I'm not too sure what that was, and since it was already shown, this is the well, this is not exactly a leftover piece, but this is the war slide decal. Once again, I don't really care for these, but still there's a lot of symbols that I'm not aware of, but yeah, if you are into those, good for you. And here is the sticker sheet. Not too much, and I did use most of it except for these two that goes onto the chest and the back head camera, because there was already a clear green piece. So these parts, as I mentioned, I haven't bought any previous Astray Mastery kits, so I'm pretty sure these are from that. So we have these red parts, which I'm not really too sure what that is, and then these two red parts, that has a ball joint for some reason. I'm not really sure, and this white part, once again, don't know what this is. So once again, pass. Alright, so in this part, we actually do get some interesting leftover parts. Now, technically, the Astray was mostly seen having the Guerrero Straight / the Katana having only one set. But with the leftover parts, you can't make the sheaths, but this is the part of the sheaths, and there's another one of those red parts. And here is some parts for the actual Katana. So we actually do get one leftover handle set. You get two handle sets, so you have one, and then we have these parts that actually goes onto the Katana handle, and this part that is supposed to go to the sheath. So and the actual blade. So we have one leftover blade, so we are able to make one more Katana, but not the sheath. I just want to mention that. And here are the stuff that you should be getting. Now I'm gonna go over the basic stuff first, so we can make some space. So number one, we get some beam saber effect parts for the beam saber hilts that are on the backpack of the Astray. So these are actually pretty different. These are the more flat ones, not exactly the same as Gundam Age series, but still a more flat one, and we actually had some more extra detail going on there. And then here we have some regular typical beam saber effect parts that we would see in most kits. So here we go. These are meant for the customized Baku head. They will go on each side of the head. So once again, I'll be demonstrating that. And then we get a pretty basic beam rifle and a pretty basic Astray shield, pretty much one of the common shield designs in the series. And finally, the Baku head. So this head, as much as and this connector. So the way how this connects, I'm not a big fan. It's actually pretty tricky. So what they tell you to do is pretty much attach this to the hand and then plug the entire thing inside there. And that is not easy. On the process, I actually had the hand fall off multiple times. So there is another way I like to do it, but it's not ideal. But still, there is a way to do that. And here, as you can see, the sensors, the visor, these two dots, and then the top head sensor, that is all stickers going on here. And this is not actually the exact 100% Baku head. This is actually a customized version. And no, there is no mono eye behind the visor as well. And no, this does not mean we're getting a mass grade of this. That's kind of a stretch. But yeah. And finally, the backpack, one of the main finale. So for those, I'm kind of surprised not many actually knew this, because I believe if you go to the Bandai website, I'm not sure if it's still there, but back then when I was a kid, I actually went to the website, and they actually had like a short animation clip of the red Astray and the blue Astray at the time, giving like a short introduction animation, and that red Astray actually had this backpack going on here. It will also attach to the back. It also has its own gimmick where it can turn into its own flight mode, and there would be a handle where the Astray could just hold on and hang around. So yeah, I'll be going over that as well. Alright, so let's go over the review. So I'm going to take it off the stand and let's see what we got. Oh, and regarding polycaps, you also get 2 sets of polycaps, but yeah, we don't use all of them. Red polycaps to be more specific. Now, after building my first Master Grade Astray, I can definitely tell why everybody, or a good number of people, say they really enjoy or like this kit. And yeah, I mean, the build was okay. Of course, there were some areas that I was not a big fan of, and I wish my camera was focused, but okay, let's see what we got. Okay, let me just readjust the camera. Okay, there we go. So let's look at the head. Now the head, definitely it was a cool design, but I'm not a big fan of V-fin. I'm not talking about the design. I'm talking about the connection points. So at the edge of the lower section of the V-fin, there is only a single small short peg going on there, and the way it connects to the end tip of the forehead, not the best idea, because it turns out to be a little bit wobbly time to time, and every time you try to push it in, you feel like you're gonna break it anytime soon. So yeah, this is definitely one of the more fragile looking and actually feeling V-fins I've seen so far. But I do like the small details, such as like this green clear piece on the forehead and the back of the head camera. So they tell you to put a green sticker on top of this head camera. I decided not to do that. And they did a pretty good job on the color separation on the head. Those black / gray lines and the the turbine looking head on the back definitely looks okay. So the head can go down that much. It can go down pretty much and up pretty well, and then you have a forward and backward tilt. You can see the V-fin moving, wobbling around all the place. So yeah, and then the head should be able to go 360 due to how the connection is. But once again, on the lower back section of the head, there is this section right over here which might get in the way. So if you just be aware that you don't scratch or break anything on the process. Okay, now before we go to the back, let's look at the shoulder. So we have a pretty good range of shoulder movement as far as I can tell. So it's kind of stiff, but you are able to move outside a good range. So you can see there is a movement going on there. And the 360 twist on the arm is possible. If this thing can move more out, just let me know, because I was trying to force it, but it's not really coming out as much as I thought. 360 twist on the entire arm is possible, and then 360 on the lower section is also possible, and then we get a nice double jointed bend going on here, and there's a hole for the shield connector as well. There's a hole for each arm, and typical ball jointed hand with the articulated fingers, the old style where the thumb and the trigger finger moves separately and the rest moves together, and there is a peg system going on there as well. And then the arms can go about more than 90 degrees to the side as well. So, or if it can go more than that, do let me know, because once again, being my first kit of the Astray, I'm not really too aware of the articulation range. Alright, and the backpack, we got a pretty basic looking backpack with a basic looking thruster going on there. You are able to plug this out and then move this down to the section with multiple joints going on there to connect the backpack. So the backpack actually connects to this single square hole. I would like to point that out. Of course, rearranging it is kind of tricky, but still works. And we have these beam saver hilts, which can move to the side a little bit as well. And yeah, they're a pretty good chunk of size as well, and I do like the fact there is the whole system going on there to attach to the hand, because sometimes, like, even though the hand does have, a lot of kits, while they have the hole and peg system, sometimes the beam saber would not have the hole, and you would just have to like hold it in some sort of weird position. This one, I don't need to worry about that. Alright, so actually, one thing I am having issues is that the Gundam Astray, once you attach to the side skirt does kind of pop off a little bit easily, but I'm going to take it off for now. And I gotta say, I do like the design of the katana going on here. You can pull it out, and I think the silver blade is actually, the metallic chrome blade is a nice touch going on here. Or it could be the fact that I do like chrome for some reason. Yeah, definitely a nice design going on here. And then let's get the body. The body can do a kind of a ab crunch going on here. Well, not exactly a proper ab crunch. It's more of a body connected to a ball joint on the bottom, so it's able to move forward and backward going on there. 360, I'm not sure. It's not really possible because it's kind of, as far as I can tell, the front section is colliding with the middle crotch section. And then the way how they open the cockpit, it's kind of odd. They tell you to do this first, they tilt it to the back, and then you are able to open the cockpit. Although, yeah, once again, I'm having a little bit trouble doing this, but still, as far as I can tell, yeah, there we go. We are able to open this section up. So yeah, there is a middle section crotch, ab crunch going on there, but it's kind of stiff. It doesn't really move too much as far as you can tell. And we have the pilot inside there, pretty nice. Come on, let's close this up once more. There we go. All right, and now the front skirts. Well, there is a front skirt, but not too big. I mean, it's not really a big deal. And then the way how this connects is pretty interesting. We have this movement where you can move these to the side, where yeah, there's actually another joint where there's a ball joint on the front and then on the side for the side skirt. So yeah, kind of a interesting design there. Something I haven't seen too often. And then the back skirts don't actually move that much. And then there is this section where you can store it in the beam rifle. But yeah, I don't think many people will be doing this on if you buy the flight pack. All right, the legs. I would like to point out one thing that I found it odd is that we had these holes going on here. So I personally thought the Gorilla straight or the sheaths would be attaching here, but that's not the case. So I'm not really sure what that hole is for. It's if I had to guess, it's something from the previous Astrays. The legs, we have your nice side sole going on here, although the connection is very odd. The instruction manual tells you to make the connectors here, attach it onto the waist first, and then and then push in the legs on the inside. That is not a great idea. I would suggest you do the typical way where you make the joints, attach it to the legs, and then you attach it to the waist. Because I feel like you might accidentally break that joint. Alright, so we have a nice side sole going on here. The legs can go to the side of 90 degrees or slightly more, depending on how you look at it. And then we have a nice forward kick, and back not so much because of the back skirt. And then we have a nice only 90-degree bend, really? Okay. I personally thought there would be more, but yeah, I guess this is as far as I go. But we have a nice knee action as well. And we have a pretty basic flat feet, which are ideal for such kits, which are connected to ball joints. And then I believe there's no toe bend going on here to the downside, but a little bit to the upwards. Alright, so we've seen the basics of the Astray. Pretty well built kit, and yeah, pretty basic and very solid kit. And I would like to mention that the red parts, a good amount of the red parts were undergated for some reason. Okay, and then finally let's look at the backpack. So the backpack does have its own articulation a little bit, or some movement. So number one, the wings can move or can be folded in or out like this. There's no second bending point. It's just only the wings, and I gotta tell you, the wings definitely look a little bit different. More squarish wings, if you ask me. And then we have a 360 twist around here. Just be careful not to collide with anything as well. And then another rotating point here as well. So once again, if you want to store it in some weird position, that's up to you. And then we have these top wing extensions. So they're not the best stable build, but still, especially this one tends to pop out. I mean, the inner black piece tends to pop off from the red part, but still we have a movement here that can go side to side. That's pretty much it for this section. And then the lower booster parts, they are connected to ball joints, so you can move as much as the ball joint allows you to do so. I do like this design, definitely different from the Ale Striker pack as well, as far as I can tell, even structure wise as well, and do like the small details of the thrusters. And there's also one more thing, the flight mode I was talking about. So and here's another sticker right over here. You can, for some reason, you can open this flap, which I assume is like some sort of brake system going on here. And then you can move this section to the front and then push this section to the back like that. And then you will reveal a handle here. Oops, the handle does pop off a little bit easily, but that's pretty much just to make sure you can get it out and reconnect it. And then you can attach it here. So if you want to not only have it on the back, but if you want to actually have the Astray like hanging around on the flight pack, this is what you use. Of course, you're going to need two big action bases, and as much as I would like to show you guys that thing, I will show you guys if you see the intro pictures, or come to my Facebook page, which is Charlie426. You will see the image doing it, because my setup right here is not the biggest place and I barely have enough space to do it. If you see the pictures, you will just understand what I mean. But yeah, alright, so we've seen the basics. I'll be right back with the demonstration. So I'm not going to go over the basic like beam rifle or beam sabers and such. I'll be going with mostly with the backpack. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So currently I have the backpack on. I'm doing the typical katana pose that was mostly seen in the box and pictures of the promo pics. Once again, I do like that katana, and the extra backpack does give it a nice vibe to it as well. Now, as I mentioned, the backpack is only connected to a single peg that is connected to the bag. I mean, the peg is on the backpack and that peg connects into the back. So there's only one peg that's actually connecting the kit, and it's actually pretty well done. And even there is actually a separate action-based stand for this. Let's hope I can take this out. So they actually provide this piece on the top, so you can slide in the there's actually a long section on the backpack right over here. There's actually one long thing, and then you can just pretty much slide it in and it will stay there for a pretty good while. Nothing is loose, nothing is falling apart at the moment. Now, if you've seen my pictures on Facebook or on the interesting, you might have noticed that the weapons were stored onto the side. So let's, for example, on this side, you might have noticed you don't really see any holes or peg, and this is where I was pretty impressed. So you can push this section and rotate it around, and it will reveal a square hole and a circle hole. So this would pretty much determine where you put the weapons, but it's pretty much given that you put the beam rifle onto this section, so basically on the right section, if you look at it from this angle, basically. So if you look at the beam rifle, there is a peg where you can pull out to the side like that, and then that will go into the square hole. So if you put it on the other way like this, then it's going to get in. If you do it the other side, for example, then it's going to get in the way. So which is why you want to have this thing facing backwards as well. And let me just get it in, because I can't really see the hole from this direction. Sorry about that. I dropped the beam rifle as usual. So just plug it in, and it is a firm connection. Same goes for the other side. If you look at the other side once again, oops, there we go. We have another section. You rotate it around, reveals a circle hole and another square hole. So this one, in this case, you get the shield. Let me just back up a little bit. You get the shield. You put so it's going to store in like this. So you open this section up, rotate it around to the top, and then you plug in to the circle hole there. And then there you go. You have the shield. Oops. Connected. Yes, I am not a big fan of how because the reason why this fell off is that there is no actual place that actually plugs in other than that small connector. So this might actually happen, but nothing breaks. So as long as you position the kit, it should be fine. All right. So we've seen the basic pose and structure of the backpack. So I think I'll be right back to show you guys on which way is the best way to attach this thing onto the arm. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So the best way for me, or at least the more stable way to do this, is number one, I would separate the head from top to bottom as well. As I mentioned, on the manual, they basically tell you to, well, assuming that this is assembled, they tell you to separate the hand and attach the handle, and then you put the hand and handle together inside there, and then reattach it to the arm. While if you can do it, that's fine by me and fine by you, but problem is, on the process of trying to plugging in the entire hand into the hole there, it keeps popping out. So what I like to do is to get a more visual on it, is that you do something like this, and then you basically line it up and then reattach the bottom section like this. There we go. And then you re-rotate it again, and then now you have the Baku hand on here. I'm kind of surprised they actually gave you a handle of this, because I was expecting that you would just replace the hand and there would be a big giant ball joint on the inside of the head, because I personally thought that would be a much more easier solution, but oh well. So I believe in the main, this thing was never actually seen in the TV series itself, but basically the video I was talking about, the introduction video, the pilot actually goes to like a auction place, and they were selling this Baku head, and then the guy buys it and kind of forcefully attaches to the Astray, and he does use it once, but he kind of abandons it later, right after the first use. But still, it's a pretty neat weapon to have, like a head on your arm as well. And that's pretty much it for the review. So basically, as I mentioned, I think we've seen enough Astray reviews on the internet, and we've seen the basics of using the katana, the beam rifle, the beam saber, and the shield. So yeah, but yeah, I wanted to show you guys like the new stuff regarding this as well. So yeah, hopefully this review was helpful, and hopefully you guys can either get the set or the backpack, separately as well. Anyway, thanks for watching the review. This was the review of the P-Bandai exclusive Master Grade Gundam Astray Red Frame Flight Unit Pack set. If you guys got any questions or requests, leave a comment below. I still have more stuff to buy and build and make reviews out, so please stay tuned. Until then, see you guys next time.